Hi guys, well today we're going to have a look at Generative Fill and Generative Edit in Affinity 3.2. And what can you do with that? Well, let's have a look at that, shall we? What we have here is an ordinary point and click household photograph. And what we've done is add to that some aeroplanes, which is very nice. But the house underneath looks a bit ordinary, doesn't it? So what I did was change it to mountains. So now we've got some jet planes over the mountains. Just a quick look at what we can do. So let's get on with seeing how we do this, shall we? And we're going to start with the Affinity Foundry logo. And you can see what I've done there. Let's do the same thing here. We'll hide those layers. What I did first was put a layer in the background with a line drawing of a foundry. Very nice. But then I wanted some sparks flying around here. So what I did was add some sparks. Now that looks very dramatic, doesn't it? And just to show what could be done, I wanted to put a line drawing of a steam locomotive in there. So I put that up the top, which is a bit useless, but we'll take that off. And what we have there is a very nice image. And I've changed, or added if you like, some green sparks in there. Now, let's see how we do this. We'll start by drawing in my Affinity Foundry logo. It's a good place to start. It's a nice bright image and it's an easy image to start with. We're just going to add the few things to it that you could see before. Now we're in Canva AI here as opposed to vector, pixel or layout. I'm using Canva AI. We'll go across to there and I'll type in the prompt. Now the more detailed this is, the better will be your result. The main thing here is we're going to get an outline of a foundry factory with crucibles pouring molten metal in the background, rendered with a clean composition, excellent lighting and sharp details. And it'll be a pencil outline, not an actual image. Now let's just generate that and see what happens. There it goes. Now it'll take a moment as it comes through, but depending on the speed of your computer, I guess, whether it generates it really quickly or really slowly. But of course, if you're dealing with graphics, the better your system, the faster it'll work. Now we're nearly there, and there we go. Now you can see we've got a nice little foundry in the background there, but of course it sits over the top of the image that we've got. Now we want it in the background of that image, so we can drag it below there, and we can take that image there and select, you can just see it through there, multiply, color burn, oh we don't want that one, light burn, darken color, no, that one's not too bad. We can go all the way down to add. No, that one's no good. Multiply is probably not too bad, but what I'll do is just leave it at normal, because what I want to do is perhaps not alter my original, but we'll go up there and put that there. Then we'll go to normal and see what happens when we do that. If we go down to add, no, it's got the same thing. Darker colour's not too bad. It's very faint linear burn. You can see the factory quite nicely behind there. Colour burn, it's a bit more faded out. That's better. Multiply is probably pretty good. Darken. Now that's with the, let's just apply that one. That's with the image layer on top. Now the image layer, as you can see, is still selected. And we've got the factory in there. We haven't got, they're both exactly the same size, which of course is what we want. But if you move that, you can see it moves at moves the factory around. You could enlarge that. Let's bring that back up. There's more of the factory in the top, and it doesn't matter that it's over the boundaries because that's quite all right. You can clip it to the canvas or you can just leave it like that, because when you export it, it will move all of that, remove all of that outside there. You'll only get what's in the square there exported. Now what I want to do is not just leave that there because it's actually muddied the image up a little bit. I guess I could reduce the opacity of that slightly. Let's go to there, and you can reduce the opacity down to 48. There's 50%. That's not too bad. So it's not quite so bold showing up there. So far, so good. Now what we want to do is put the sparks in. Now adding the sparks is exactly the same system. Press the escape key to get rid of that bounding box, but because we want that, we can select that. It doesn't matter which one you've got selected, because we're going to put a different prompt up here now. Let's put that in. High quality professional stock photo featuring clean composition, well lit, etc., etc. A layer of glowing sparks from a foundry, artistically integrated into the foreground. So let's generate this image. Now this should put this image just on top of the layer we've got selected and in between the layer with the image of the foundry that's on it. And you can see how I'm building up a composite of images here, and they're all being done with AI. Now you can see the image and the sparks there. Very nice, very brilliant. But again, it's blocking everything else out, and it's blocking that out. So let's see what we can do with this. There we go, there's lighten. There's add. Slightly less brightness, but I'll leave it at add, I think. We can try variations down here. No, that one's no good. That one's not too bad. That one's different. Now I'll stick with this one, I think. And there we go. All with by adding those there. And that's it, basically. Let's just turn that off. We don't want to see that now. And there's our finished image. Now we're going to put the green sparks in here. So what we do is select the layer that's got that on. Now I've already got Generative Edit tool selected. So I've selected the layer I want to edit. Now I'm going to use the newer AI quality one, the Nano Banana Ultra prompt, and put in add a random set. That should be edit. Sorry, back up quickly. Edit a random set of the sparks to IEESIDESCENT iridescent. I must learn how to spell that. Let's see if that works. It may not be spelt correctly. but we're using Nano Banana. We're changing some of the sparks to green, and the transparency is automatic. So let's just see what happens. When I click the edit button, and away it goes, generative edit, it's quite fast. And there we go. Almost done. There we go. That's much better. You can see I've got Nano Edit selected. Nano Banana, which is a really curious word, but there we go. Now I notice that the factory image in the background is still a little off there. I can change that. I'm not so much after the exact factory as just the hint of the factory in the background, and that's got it up and out of the sparkly area there. Very good. Press the escape key to get rid of all that. And we've got some of the green sparks. Some of the sparks turn to green. A random set of sparks turn to green. Okay, that's not bad for that one. Now let's just try with a random photograph that I'll take from my photo archive here and see what we can do with that. Now this one's fairly straightforward. It's just taking a standard photograph that I've taken with my camera, looking out the back window at the house behind us and a nice blue sky with a rather odd cloud shape. But what I want to do in there is add some aeroplanes. Let's try the Generative Fill tool. Now we should be able to drag out just a section there, and down in the Generative Fill prompt area we can put some aeroplanes in there. Let's make them jet aeroplanes. We'll apply that, and the aeroplanes should appear within the area that I selected. Just taking a moment to appear. As always, it takes a little while. There we go, almost there. And there's a whole raft of aeroplanes. Now we could have added more when that first came up by generating more variations, but that will do for the time being. There we go. Now there's our aeroplanes. But what we've got down here is the house. Now let's have a look here. What we've got is the aeroplanes, and we've still got the house in the foreground. But what I really want to do is get rid of that TV antenna, which is a bit of an eyesore right there in the middle of the picture. So with the selection tool applied, we can go around that. Just go around the antenna. It doesn't have to be exact, just like that. Then we can go to Generative Edit. Make sure you've got the right layer selected, and with that selected there we can just type in remove the TV antenna. That's all we need to do. Then we can click Edit. Away it goes. The Generative Edit is working. Just takes a moment, of course. It's still slower than trying to it's still faster, should I say, than doing it by hand, which of course with a clean image like that you could do it by hand quite easily without having to mess around with the Generative Edit. But there you go, and it's gone. Press the escape key and so are all the doovies around it, the crawling ants. But I've still got the house in the foreground. Now what I want to do with that is select the entire house. Go right around the image. Doesn't matter if you go outside the boundaries. There we go. Now we've got it all selected. Now I can go up here to Generative Fill, and I can do something like add a snow could MMMOUNTAIN. Add a snow-covered mountain range with snow-covered with windswept peaks. Let's see what that does. Image count 1. See if you change that to image count. No, it won't do it. So it's not going to let me do more than one image count. We'll just apply. Now this should be replacing the house with snow-covered peaks. And it should put it in the area that I selected. And it should do it. Let's see if it does. There we go. Now the house is completely gone and replaced by snow-covered peaks. And there you can generate more variations, but we won't bother with that. So we've taken the entire photo that's got the odd cloud in it, removed the house altogether, put some aeroplanes in there, and we've now got a completely different jet planes, snow-covered peaks, and the original background. Is the original background still there? I should think it is. And without the aeroplanes. You'll notice that the TV antenna is still gone because that was a hard edit. In other words, be careful of that. You can remove things that you don't want to remove, and they won't come back later. Okay, that's all there is to it for Generative Fill in Canva AI. I hope you enjoyed that quick little snack, and if you did, please subscribe and press the thumbs up for a like, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next little video.